You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE.
Welcome everybody to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE. This is a show produced, managed and presented by Super Dads. For you guessed it, the unsung heroes of family life, the Super Dad. Each week, we invite a Super Dad on the show to discuss family, careers, challenges and life in general as a modern day superhero. And if you stick with us over the coming weeks, I can guarantee you'll come out the other end a Super Dad. I'm Sam, and I'm lucky enough to be joined every week by my best friend, the man who once had a fight with Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris lost. It's Gary Sherrington Boyd.
Kicked his butt, I tell you. Who's Chuck Norris? Well,
Chuck Norris who?
Chuck E. Cheese.
All right, well, there's other restaurants available
Geezer.
out there.
Shouldn't have looked at my wife like that, I'm telling you.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm
Good
all right,
week?
mate. I'm all right. I'm stretching after my Chuck Norris fight, but apart from that, I'm good to go. How are you?
I didn't say it was this week. I said at some point.
Oh, he came back for a rematch.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's a bit old now, so...
Yeah.
and
Well, that's why I won.
That's why you won. Kicked his crutches away.
I just ran, and then he just sort of bad knees, fell over, walking sticks and stuff like that.
Well, for anybody that, is tuned into the show regularly, please comment on Instagram whether or not you think Gary could outrun Chuck Norris. That would be an interesting poll, won't
Probably
it?
not.
Well, anyway. I've had a good week. Kids are good, family's good. Funny enough, your favourite member of my family, my dad's coming out soon.
Really?
Yeah, we're not going to bring him out on lunch again because of what you did last
No,
time.
he got really excited on our last evening out. So
It's not going to happen again.
No,
We've been told. The wife said you're not allowed to play with Gary anymore. So it's not in that way, just generally.
Definitely not the first time I've heard that. But
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, so let's get straight into it. So this week, our potential Super Dad applicant is Paul. Now, Paul owns a very interesting business here in the UAE called Expat AC. It's here in Dubai. He's a husband and a dad. And today we will learn a little bit more about him, his life in the UAE, owning a business, working in that business, and the responsibilities that come with it, and the responsibilities of being the family's unsung hero.
As well as that, Paul is going to help us understand all the pros and cons of how to maintain your AC here in the UAE. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on. It's nice to be
It's
here.
a pleasure. We got AC issues, so we thought get you on,
Get a free maintenance
get a free
check.
gig out of it.
Well, to be
Who
fair,
knows?
it's very cool in here. Actually, I was thinking that earlier. So whoever's on this one is doing a great job.
That's very true. It is chilly in here
It
today.
is.
Pablo, have you had anybody in to look? If not, there may be a contract that could come this way. Expat AC.
Well, I'm
Talk to the
imagining.
boss.
I'm imagining as it's cold, it's sort of working. So maybe
Always room for improvement.
That's true. That's
Ah,
true.
I
That's
like
true.
it. Always
That's true.
upsell. So Paul, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, I moved to the UAE just over 5 years ago. My wife twisted my arm as she grew up out here.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, she was actually born in Saudi Arabia. Moved over to Dubai when she was, I think, about 2. Lived here till she was 14. Went over to the UK. Met me 2 years later, and she twisted my arm.
You met when you were 4.
14.
Oh, sorry.
She moved to Dubai when she was 2.
That's right. Yeah, track back. Yeah, moved to Dubai.
We've only been
too,
going a couple
yeah,
of minutes. You
okay.
stopped listening to me already.
But that was like a romantic, coming of age, family friend type gig. It's all been ruined now.
Yeah, I was really trying to set the scene there, and
You see what I have to part with? Okay. Sorry, Paul. Please carry
In
on.
my mind, when he's talking, I'm hearing because I
Like a
thought they
Lifetime
met when
movie.
they were 2, like a playground or something. Anyway, sorry, mate. Go on.
No. So yeah, so yeah, we were together when we were 16.
Okay,
good. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
16.
just to get that straight. Yeah, and so we spent, I think it was about 7 years we had in the UK together, and then that was enough. The cold weather was too much, so my wife dragged me back over to Dubai, which was great. She had a job as a teacher, so she was straight into work. I came out here without a job, not really knowing what I was going to do, but willing to come and give it a go in the sunshine. I come from a heating and ventilation, air conditioning background, so felt that there must be something over here for me. So
not too hot on the heating, but definitely the cooling.
Yeah, the ventilation and cooling side of it definitely come into play out here. Yeah. So yeah, we I think we were over here for about 3 months, and I didn't have a job, as I was looking for something that was going to be suitable for what I had been doing. And yeah, just chilled out, relaxed for 3 months as well. So really enjoyed Dubai, really settled in, got into the spirit of Dubai with the brunches and stuff on the weekend. Had a great time, and then slowly found myself some work after about 3 months.
That's always the way. Was the wife twisting your arm? Get
up
off the sofa.
Yeah, it was going all right till then. Yeah, it was going all right till then.
Look, love, there's loads and loads of jobs down the beach club.
Absolutely. So kids as well? You're a dad?
Yeah, we've got a 2-year-old boy. We've got another one on the way in July.
Congratulations!
So thank you very much.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we've got a hands full with him running around now, as you can imagine for a 2-year-old. But yeah, it's great. Love it. It's something that we've not been planning for years or anything like that. But when we knew we wanted kids, we were just desperate to have kids, and so yeah, to have this little boy that's 2-year-old is fantastic. Having down the beach, around the swimming pools and stuff is just great. Give him that sort of upbringing that my wife had, but I didn't, back in the UK. So that's fantastic.
So where was home in the UK for you originally?
I'm from a very small town called Farnborough in Hampshire.
Yeah, baby. I know Farnborough.
You're pulling my leg.
From there. Yeah, baby. Shout out to Hampshire Massive.
Yeah, I drove through it once, so I felt like we had a connection.
Very fast.
No, we used to live in a place called Herriard in Hampshire, and Guildford. So
okay, yeah, Guildford's just up the road. Yeah.
That's where my wife's from actually as well.
Okay. Well, me and my wife Laura actually lived in Hindhead for a while, which is literally just up the A3 into Guildford.
Mate, Hindhead's beautiful.
Lovely countryside. Yeah.
Oh.
What's happened to you? What, Butte?
Yeah, it's Butte, isn't it? What?
Who have you been hanging out with?
You mostly.
I do not say Butte.
Oh, it's one of your sort of like posh words that you use from time to time.
No, it's not. I'd say beautiful.
Like enthusiastic.
That's not even the same thing.
Yeah, that's a posh word.
Or enthusiastic.
Yeah, but there's sorts of words you say. Enthusiastic.
What, ones with more than 2 syllables?
Yeah. Synergy. Stuff like that.
When
really
have I said synergy?
Just then. See? Well, that's great. So, listen, I'm going to have to cut this because I am sick to death. I don't know about how you're feeling. I'm sick to death with inviting people onto our show with these tiny, tight T-shirts and these bulging arms. You're talking about you got kids. You look like some sort of 16-year-old boy band member. You look like you're out of NSYNC. I'm off.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, because my wife actually found a grey hair yesterday, so that's made me feel a bit better about myself.
Really?
Yeah, somewhere around.
Where was it?
Somewhere around the back where I can't see, but yeah, I'm sure it's hidden away.
Mate, I bet that grey hair wasn't there before you had kids. I'm telling you. So, guys, we're off for a quick break now. When we get back, we'll be talking more to NSYNC about everything that's AC. So stay with us on 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun radio station in the UAE.
You're listening to
Super Dad. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys. You're listening to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM. Still the #1 fun station in the UAE. Well, at least until we're finished with it. So, Paul, let's get straight into things. You started Expat AC out here. What made you come to the conclusion that there was room in the market for another an AC provider here in the UAE?
Okay, well, when I first moved over here, like I say, 5 years ago, it really struck me that there wasn't actually any other sort of real British, companies set up with British guys, tradesmen out there, just doing a good job, basically, because all I ever heard was that the service industry is not very good, and trying to get people into villas is not great, and it was I think within about the first 5 or 6 months we need something doing on our villa or our apartment at the time. You need to get someone in, so you start asking around at work who's good, and everyone just had bad words to say about everyone, and it really just struck me that why isn't there a good company set up then, or why are more Brits not leaving the sun? Leaving the colder climate for the sun.
Yeah.
Come out here and make a go of it. And so I was quickly told that no, that's not what you do as a British engineer. You don't come out to Dubai and work on the tools or do anything like that. You just go into construction and you'll get a nice cushy managerial role and you'll get a nice salary and you'll be absolutely fine. And you kind of got pushed down that sort of path. And so I worked in construction for 5 years. I worked for a large electromechanical company, went in as a site engineer, quickly moved up to a construction manager, but I still wanted to be more involved in the sort of running of a business and, you know,
More hands-on.
a bit higher up the ladder as well, just to sort of get a bit more like involved, you know, to steer the ship a little bit more rather than just sort of being, you know, sort of told what to do all the time. So I moved to a smaller company as a senior project manager, which was great, and it gave me some real invaluable experience that is required, I think, to be in Dubai and actually be able to run a business on your own. And so I was there for a couple of years, and then it was just like, right now, sort of feels right. I've gained enough experience out here. I know that still after the 5 years, there's not many companies that you would just pick up without hesitation. You know, you would have to ask somebody, do your research, get a recommendation. You know, it's a bit of hard work to actually try and find someone that was any good. So I thought, right, there's definitely space in the market. So the more research I did, I found that actually there isn't another British air conditioning engineer out there on the tools doing the job. So I thought, well, why don't I try and be that first person? So I set up Expat AC. The idea was to kind of set up slowly and start, in January of this year, ease into it. I'm now my own boss. I don't have to do what anyone else says. I can work my own hours, take it nice and relaxed, ease yourself into it. I think, we had the Christmas break. I think my wife went back to work on sort of the 3rd or 4th or something like that. And so then that was my start. Started putting a few feelers out. By the 9th, I was booked up, and I worked back to back for the full January.
Wow.
Fridays, Saturdays,
Really?
everything. Yeah.
Incredible.
We were talking off air earlier that your phone's buzzing away.
Yeah.
How many emails and inquiries did you get in that first take that we did?
I haven't checked properly, but there was probably about 8 WhatsApp notifications. There was 2 emails and a couple of missed calls.
I mean, that was in 11 minutes
Yeah.
that we've been sat here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible to think that you're at that stage now.
Yeah.
You started in January.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible how I looked back at the end of January and was just, taken aback, because I'd written off January, February, March. Let's take 3 months to get into it, get your name out there, get some confidence, maybe even do a few freebies just to get some sort of confidence into people to recommend you.
Yeah, don't give up on that. Don't give up on the freebies. Keep going with that.
Super dads always get freebies.
In fact, I actually said to a few people, look, once I'm going, I'll come round to your villa. I'll give you a service. I'm going back on the tools. It'll freshen me up, and I couldn't do them because I was just too busy.
Really?
Yeah. So it was really, from having that thought that there must be a gap in the market, very quickly was confirmed.
That's amazing. I mean, you touched on it earlier. I imagine obviously one of your unique selling points is A, you go around to villas and give people servicing, and B, you're a Brit AC maintenance provider.
Yeah.
Any other USPs you have? I mean, you just do AC, right? Is there any other companies in the market that just do AC maintenance?
There are other companies in the UAE that do AC cleaning mainly, but when it comes to the sort of technical fault finding sort of side of it, that's where they tend to break down. In fact, I had somebody call me up yesterday for exactly that same thing.
All right.
They'd spent a lot of money to get a whole system cleaned, which is fantastic. The company did a great job. But when she then said, oh, but what about this is not working? Oh, no, we don't do that. So she then had to get in touch with me.
So she had to double bubble, she had to pay twice.
Yeah, exactly. And she thought that the clean would just solve everything and it would be fine. But obviously it was a bit more than that. But yeah, there is other AC companies out there that just do standalone AC, but it's mainly the cleaning side of it. I can't think off the top of my head any other company that is purely AC that do fault finding, and call outs, repairs, and the cleaning side of it as well, and all the servicing that you'd expect.
Buy cheap, buy twice. That's my motto.
Pay peanuts, get monkeys.
It's true.
I mean, is there, obviously, we talked about the USP and you being the brand itself, but have you been surprised by the range of people that have found you and have used you since, in terms of where your name has got to?
Yeah, I have actually, because when I first started out, obviously branding myself as Expat AC, it more or less applies to everyone, unless you're an Emirati. You know, everyone's an expat here.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought, well, I've got the British sort of side of it, so perhaps that's going to catch on more, and it's probably going to be about 99% British people that call me up. But I'm really surprised. I've got loads of South Africans that have been calling me up recently, Lebanese. I've had a couple of Emiratis, obviously loads of Brits, Australians, New Zealand. It just so many different nationalities calling me up, which is really nice, because although I'm obviously proud to be British, I've got the logo on my t-shirt, as well as the UAE, of course. But it's really nice to actually know that other nationalities are warm to other nationalities to come and work in the house, and they have faith in the Brits, which is great.
It's true, they do, to be fair. Working in construction myself for more years that I care to mention, one of the things that does come with that is quality. It'll get done right first time.
Yeah, a lot. You'll find in construction that a lot of the standards are British standard. So it's.
No, really brilliant. This has been great. I'm just chuffed for you.
Yeah, it's
great
to hear the story, and I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, well, we will hear more.
Really? Okay.
That was an amazing link. Segue. See, it's posh words again. Segue. Opportunity. He's using all those public school
Diversity.
Weren't they dancers on like Britain's Got Talent?
They were, yeah.
They were pretty good.
Anyway.
And what else is pretty good is Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun radio station in the UAE. Keep tuned in. We'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to
Super Dads. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys, to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM. Still and always the number one fun radio station here in the UAE. So, setting up a business, totally rewarding, totally get it. It's a start-up. That's very, 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 very time consuming.
Scary.
And scary. How are you juggling the work-life balance we all crave, we all want, rarely get, with setting up a new business, with having a kid on the way?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a bit of a learning curve at the moment. I say we're into our 4th month now. I thought, working for somebody else, sometimes you take your work home with you. But it's very easy just to switch it off, put your phone down. But when you start a business, obviously, if you switch off or put your phone down, like we found out earlier, you put your phone down for 10 minutes and you've missed 6 potential customers, which is obviously money, which obviously feeds the family. So it's been very difficult to kind of find that balance of when I'm home, when I'm with my wife and son, and when I'm sort of, focusing attention with Expat AC. What I found that I was actually trying to do both at the same time. I was trying to respond to calls, messages, emails, answer the phone, whilst also trying to be with my son and my wife. And it wasn't working. I was annoying the hell out of my wife. My son wasn't getting the attention that a 2-year-old needs. And so basically what we've decided to do now is that when I do come home, there is a certain amount of admin stuff that I have to do. I just go and do it, half an hour, you just go and do it. And then you put the phone down, because if you actually dedicate time to it, you're actually more efficient with your time, rather than actually trying. That half an hour of work could have been spread over 4 hours, but you're also taking time out of your family. So put yourself away just for 30 minutes, dedicate that time to it, respond to what you need to do, and then have a bit of a cut-off. You've then got your evening with your family. You can play with your son, bath him, put him to bed, watch something with the wife, and you still dedicate some time. So that's what we're sort of doing at the moment. But like I say, it's a bit of a learning curve. It's also difficult when it comes to weekends. When somebody calls you up on a Friday or a Saturday, Paul, I really need you to come now. The AC's not working. And I haven't done so far, but it would be very difficult to say, sorry, I can't, when I knew that the only other reason was to be with my family.
Yeah.
As terrible as it sounds, when you just started a business, you just want to please everybody.
Yeah, you haven't got a choice though. To be fair, you got to go to work.
And at the moment I have done. Yeah. So again, it's a lot of understanding from my wife's part as well, and she's been hugely supportive.
What's your wife's name?
Laura.
Shout out to Laura.
Thanks,
Super mum.
Massive shout out.
Thanks, Laura, for lending us Paul this evening. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
No, she's very happy. She's probably asleep. So if it wasn't for her support, then I wouldn't have as been as successful, as quickly as I have been, because she has allowed me to take the time out, do what I need to do, as long as we do set aside family time as well. So yeah, when we do get that call on a Friday, on a Saturday, I have been attending, have been getting there, which I could only do with her understanding. So it's really good. So it works on both parts. I've had to draw a line, dedicate time, but also she's very understanding and supportive.
But what about Paul? When does Paul get time for Paul? Now, sickeningly, you're posh, you can tell me.
Sickeningly.
You got it wrong. Annoyingly.
Unfortunately.
Annoyingly.
Yeah,
I thought you said you were from Surrey. I thought you would have known all these posh
mate,
words.
I was born in South East London.
Oh yeah, okay.
He
So
always he
I'll let
plays
you
like
off
he's
then.
got a silver spoon in his mouth. He's a wide boy at heart.
I am a white boy. The thing is, my wife, she's Downton Abbey, and I'm the gardener.
Okay.
That's probably the best way of putting it. So,
I wouldn't even go that far. Maybe you're the bloke that delivers the coal.
I'm the gardener's son who isn't really his son. He was adopted. Annoyingly, there you go. I can say posh things. Annoyingly, you're in decent shape. How do you keep in shape?
Getting up really early and getting to the gym before going to do a day's work on the
What
tools.
time is that? What's a day in the life
Yeah.
before you get on your tools?
Okay, well, a typical day probably starts with my son at about 5:30 jumping up and down, saying that he's ready for his milk, wants to watch TV, wants to go downstairs, wants to put on my shoes, wants to put on football boots and run around the house, that sort of stuff. Once that's all quietened down, into the gym for an hour, and then off to work.
Where do you train?
Down in Gold's Gym in Albasha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they open nice and early at 6, so yeah, in there, do an hour, and then it's a bit of sort of cardio during the day when you're on the tools as well. So
Yeah, as you can tell by my, I do some cardio in the day. Now the weather's changed. It's getting tough on site. I have to say, I'm wandering around doing surveys and stuff, and it's sweat city.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, obviously been in construction for 5 years myself. I know what it's like walking around on a building site at 12 o'clock in midday in the height of summer. Yeah.
It's tough because there'll be a stage where it gets too hot where you're going to have to do most of the site surveys at sort of like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Whatever it is. Just take your own personal fan. That's what you have to do.
Well, I'll take you then.
Oh, I like what you did there. I
Pound
like
it,
that.
yeah.
That's good, that
For the
one.
ladies at home, we just fist pumped.
I'm so glad you said that properly. Paul, for a lot of dads out here, I mean, we see it a lot. There is a stigma about dads not being able to fix things, or men not being handy, shall we say. Now, I mean, I would say very average in the DIY department. I can change a light bulb.
Okay.
That's about it. I mean,
Class that as DIY.
as opposed
Oh my
to
God.
as opposed to Bob the Builder over there.
Oh my God.
Who once, what do you say? Once built a brick barbecue that took 7 weeks to complete. Is that along the lines of that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
true.
Wow, were you on a day rate?
That was basically on those lines. But I mean, for those of us that aren't as handy as the rest, what would be the minimum you would recommend for a dad to have in his toolbox at home? I know this isn't general, AC specific, but just for the layman out there.
Yeah, I mean, as a dad, you've got to have a hammer. You've got to have a hammer.
Just for hitting things.
Definitely, yeah. Even if there's a screw that won't go in, a hammer always works. But yeah, you got to have a hammer in there because it's manly. So as big as you can fit in your toolbox would be great.
But big hammer in your toolbox.
Yeah, that's the one. So, I mean, you have to have a couple of screwdrivers in there. Get yourself a flathead. Get yourself a Phillips screwdriver, a crosshead screwdriver, and that will tighten a cupboard. It will close off one of the little valves under the sink that you got that need a little flathead screwdriver. Keep a spanner in there because that again can come in handy if you have to close off a valve very quickly. I mean, you don't want to be going into too deep with these things, but yeah, I mean, if you've got a couple of screwdrivers and a hammer and a spanner, you can probably get yourself out of mischief until somebody gets round to your house to sort you out.
Until you call in the experts at Expert AC.
Exactly.
I got one for you, little test.
Yeah.
So not so long ago, I had water pouring out the ceiling in the kitchen.
Okay.
Clearly from the AC box type area.
Yeah.
And
So technical.
Yeah,
The AC box type area.
And obviously you panic because water is scary because it's just something that doesn't stop.
Yep.
So I turned the AC on and it stopped.
Okay.
And then called out at 2 o'clock in the morning an emergency team somewhere in like Ras Al Khaimah to come out and sort out the problem.
Yeah.
What was the problem and what could I have done differently?
Yeah, well, I mean, a water leak from your AC is generally because you've got a blocked drain, and the drip tray under the unit is filled up and it's overfilling. The reason why it probably stopped when you had the AC on was because the fan was probably pulling a slight ripple of water across that drip tray and just preventing it from overflowing over the edge. As soon as you turned it off, the water ripples then settled and it was just overfilling. And yeah, so
why would it overflow though to begin with? Why would that? What would happen? Why would that be the case? That
there'd be a blockage in the drain. There'd be a bit of dust or a bit of build up or something.
A big rainstorm as well.
Okay, well, I mean, every case is different, but I mean, you may have had some sludge or something wash from the roof down the main drain. Maybe the main drain was blocked partially, and it backed back up your the waste there. But I mean, it could have been anything. You could have had dust from a poorly maintained unit that had got caught in the drip tray, and just over time it sort of builds up and just blocks in the small drain pipe that you have coming out of the unit. It's quite common.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. GSB of Super Dads had problems with his main drain.
Well, listen, before we go into any more quiz-type questions about all the AC units that Gary's had break on him, we're going to go for a quick break, but stay with us at Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
You're listening to
Super Dads.
Super
They're so
Dads.
crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys, to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, the number one radio station for fun in the UAE. So, we're at the coming towards the end of our show this evening, and we want some top tips from the expert. So, top tips for AC for Super Dads out there. What's your sort of top 3, 4, 5 tips that you can think of to help dads out there get prepped? For example, preparation for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, you need to make sure that your systems are serviced properly. I'd say for a normal villa apartment, you're probably looking at 3-4 times a year, depending on, you know, if you've got 3 or 4 dogs running around, then you may want to have it more times. If you've got a fairly clean small apartment, then 3 may be sufficient. So 3 or 4 times a year, just make sure you do get it serviced, especially in preparation for the summer. Get it done before it gets too hot, because what's happening now is as the temperature is rising, the calls are flooding in for people now because everyone's turning it on. Try and plan ahead a little bit, because when you're calling when it's the peak time, you're going to have to wait. It's not just me, it's a number of companies that are getting all the calls now. People are calling up saying, "Oh, I'm calling you up because, you know, the person I used last year, for example, when Expat AC wasn't around, can't see me for another 7 to 10 days." And these are larger companies as well. So think about it before you hit the peak of summer, and, you know, maybe get it done March, April sort of time. And, you know, because the later you get in April, you know, it's just getting too hot. These, you know, air conditioning companies are too busy, and you will have to wait. So just be prepared and think about it in advance, especially if you have been in the same place for a year or so. Perhaps you had a problem last year that you may just want. It's worthwhile. You may want to get somebody just to come in and just check it out and just say, "Look, I had, I know you're doing the service. I had this problem last year. Check it now. Give me peace of mind that it isn't going to fail again."
That's some good advice, mate. What about things like cowboys? How do you spot a cowboy?
Well, I mean, your first sign of a cowboy is probably going to be a price. If the price is too low, then alarm bell should ring, because you want somebody that isn't going to be time orientated to just get in and out as quickly as they can. You want somebody that's going to actually come and do a proper service and check everything that needs to be checked, rather than just coming in and clean the filter and going. Cleaning a filter is part of the service, but it's not the service. But I think that's what a number of companies do. Just come in, whip the filter out, bash it off, and away they go.
He said do, Sam.
No, I heard it.
I love that. Every week, at least at one point, our
you
special
bring up
guest
doo-doo. It's ridiculous.
says do. I love it. You mentioned commercials.
Yeah.
What is a competitive price, and what is the alarm price? What's that? This is wrong. It's too cheap.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah, I mean, roughly speaking, if you're looking for a normal service, and there are different types of systems that you've got, but a sort of ballpark figure for a normal service is about 350 dirham per system. If somebody's offering you something at sort of 200 dirham or something like that per system, then alarm bell should definitely ring at that sort of price, because these are people that are just looking just to come and a quick wipe over with a damp cloth and away they go. They're not actually going to check any of your mechanical operation or check your AC and all of its functions that they should do.
And so how long would you take when you go in and service? How long would you take per unit? So that if I came in, I've got 4 in my villa.
Yeah.
So I mean, how long should I estimate that you would be there for to do a thorough job?
Yeah.
You know, the way that expat AC obviously would.
Yeah, well, the way that my pricing structure and time structure is based on an hour per system. So if you've got 4 systems, I allow 4 hours. So it's a good hour per system, which is probably about 15 minutes too much per system, but it gives you a little bit of breathing space as well. So you're not rushing around, because the last thing you want is you're paying for a service and you've got an engineer in your house and he's running around trying to get it done because he needs to get on to the next job. So time it correctly, price it correctly, check everything that needs to be checked. Don't skimp on quality because of time or price. So about an hour system, just to put it in a nutshell.
I think that's been some amazing advice.
Yeah, really good. I think
for our Super Dad listeners.
Well, even for me, I'm going to be calling him up after this.
Well, now we know you can handle light bulbs.
Yeah, and
you can move on to
maybe I could join as well. We could diversify into lighting. Just saying.
Expert electrical.
Boom.
How much are you going to charge for a light bulb?
You said 350 for an hour. I can spend an hour changing a light bulb. I can have 350 an hour.
Yes, Juliet has often told me that it takes Sam an hour to do a light bulb. I can't quite figure it out.
You know that joke? How many people? How much time does it take to change a light bulb?
Yeah.
I change the light bulb in about 5 minutes, but I spend the rest of the other 55 looking like I'm looking for something just to get out doing anything else. Really.
To be fair, imagine that light bulb's in the toilet. That's a day's job.
Oh, that's a couple of hours just staring at the wall.
That's some serious Candy Crush catch up.
That's Sam time. Okay? That's Sam time.
Sam time in the toilet. Okay, guys, we're off for a break. When we get back, we'll be going into our most favouriteest part of the show. But stay with us on Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM, always and still the number one fun radio station in the UAE.
You're listening to
Super Dads. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the number one fun station in the UAE.
Welcome back, guys. You're still listening to the Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM. Now, just in the break, we were talking about a final really important thing you brought up, actually, about where people get the understanding that they need to call you up and say, I want everything done all at once.
Yeah, I mean, too often recently, especially as the weather's heating up, people are sort of getting a bit panicky about getting their air conditionings up to scratch. And, I get calls from people saying, hi Paul, I've got 7 systems, I need all of the ducts clean, all of the coils clean, full service, everything. Okay. And you actually ask them, well, why do you need that doing? Who's told you need that doing? Have you inspected the ducting? Have you inspected the coil? When was the last time you had it done? And they're like, oh, well, no, I haven't had any inspection. Nobody's told me I need it doing. So it's worthwhile just getting somebody round for half an hour, check it out. Yep, you need that ducting doing, or no, you don't. You save yourself thousands of dirhams just by being sure of what you need. Just pay for what you need. You wouldn't take your car into a car garage and before anyone's even looked at it, told them, please replace the tyres and the engine. You wouldn't do it.
That's very true. I mean, do you offer that? I mean,
Absolutely.
Would you go around and have a look at people's
Yeah.
and give them an assessment on things?
Yeah. I had a guy in Jumeirah Park. That's the one.
You're
Yes. Yeah. And anyway, this guy's got 6 systems around there, and we just popped round there. What we did was I said, well, look, I'll be there for an hour. I'll do a service on one of the systems for you, so that you get your hour's worth of money. At the same time, I'll inspect everything, and we'll go from there. If you want me to complete a service, I'll allow the time to do it all there. If we need any further work, like duct cleaning or coil cleaning, which is a bit more involved, we can schedule in another day that's convenient, or perhaps we will have time that day to do it. But it turned out that 3 of them needed doing and 3 of them didn't, of the ducts.
Wow, okay.
So I mean, he saved himself a considerable amount of money just by inspecting it first.
Oh, okay.
To finish things off, as well as being our favourite part of the show, this is where we learn even more about you. We've heard about the business, we've heard about the family, but now we don't want to know a little bit more about Paul the man. Okay? So, it's time for Super Dad Question Time!
Brilliant. I love it. Every week. Love it. Best film.
Snatch.
Great film. Favourite sports team, any sport?
Well, being a Southerner, it's got to be Manchester United.
Come on!
Every time!
Come on!
Every time.
Gunner, Solskjaer.
All right.
Best restaurant in Dubai.
Black Tap.
Oh, love the burgers.
Not been there.
Incredible.
Mainly the milkshakes.
The freak shakes, they're incredible.
Yeah, amazing.
Did they bring all the boys in town?
To your yard, Gary, come on. Guilty pleasure, favourite song to sing in the shower?
Oh, it's got to be Don McLean, American Pie.
Oh,
That's a tune.
that is a tune.
That is a tune. Favourite child?
I've only got one to choose from at the moment, so Leo, you're the one.
Oh, go on, Leo.
I love it.
Go on, big boy.
Shout out to Leo. Safe or Magic Phil?
Safe or Magic Phil? It's got to be Magic Phil.
Ooh.
Controversial. Well, it's not. It's one or the other. So, okay, Magic Phil it is.
50-50. The best meal your wife cooks?
She cooks a really, really nice Thai red curry with sweet potato.
Oh, wow.
Really
that
nice.
sounds really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Send us the recipe
Yeah,
afterwards.
she knocks it up in like 20 minutes. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm hungry now.
Maybe we can bring her on the show and she can cook for us. Maybe that could be a theme.
Like a live cooking station.
But only for us and we won't record it.
And also we'll pretend that we're recording it. But
Yeah.
we'll ask her questions about stuff, but
Pretend, yeah.
But not
that we know.
record it.
Where are the microphones? Don't worry about it. Your favourite holiday destination?
Thailand.
I'm going there in the summer.
I got married
yeah?
there 6 years
Did
ago.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
In a little island called Koh Lanta.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Go back often?
To that island we've been a couple of times, but last week I was in Thailand, in Phuket.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, just a few days. My wife twisted my arm and pulled me out there for a couple of days. Yeah, it's really nice.
Twisted
Love
my
it.
arm.
Twist my- Oh, if I have to go to Thailand, I suppose I will.
So convenient. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Nice.
Great shout. Now this is the critical one. Favourite
Okay.
Super Dads presenter?
God, this is a tough one now. You're both staring at me.
Put you under pressure.
I just got to put it out there, but it's me that sort of invited you on the show. Just saying.
No, it's got to be Sari, hasn't it?
Oh, he's gone the other way! That's right. That's the other famous.
Gammy Sari.
Gam Sari.
Gam Sari.
Sari Gam. Sari Gam's probably a name from somewhere, isn't it?
So, Samuel, is he a super dad? What do you reckon?
Well, let's look at the evidence, Sherlock.
Well, he's Andy. He's got a big hammer.
He does have a big hammer. He's a very attractive man.
Boring. Biceps.
Yeah.
Overrated.
He's a dad.
Yep.
He's a dad. I mean, that's
Yep.
that's first and foremost.
He's got a wicked wife.
He does an incredible wife by the sounds of it. He set up a business on his own to help other dads,
True.
looking after one of the most critical things that annoy me in my house, which is my AC, because I know that if that goes off, the kids go mental.
Thought you were going to mention someone else then, but okay, yeah.
Well, no, me. I don't know. It's all about me, you know. Out of 5. Remember, you need 10, Paul. You need 10. It's 5 and 5.
Does Paul think he's
Okay, I'm
a
feeling the
super
pressure
dad?
now.
Do you think you're a super dad?
Well, I don't know. Now you're sort of mentioning, all these things that I've got. I'm kind of starting to believe that I might be, but I don't know. Until you say those words, I'm not sure I might be.
He's got self-belief.
I like that.
Yeah, he's a super dad. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
5
Get in.
and 5.
Boom.
10. No questions about it, Paul.
Get in.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in this week to Super Dads on 102 Pearl FM.
Right, hang on a sec. Before we go anywhere.
I'm getting to it.
All right,
Don't
good.
put me under pressure.
I wonder where you're going.
Yeah.
We have to, because you can't leave.
No, I know what I'm doing. But before we go,
Okay.
how can the world get hold of you? Social media and all that. What's your handles?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm on Facebook, on Instagram as Expat AC Dubai. Very straightforward to find. You can send me a direct message via there. I'm very responsive. I pick up everything myself, so that's probably the best route to take.
Perfect, brilliant.
We'll post it all up on our Instagram page afterwards, as well as the Facebook page, so everybody can crack in.
And if you do want a bit more information, then you can visit www.expatac.ae.
Perfect.
All the information's up there about what we do, what we offer, and all the telephone numbers, contact details are on there as well.
Well, wicked. As Sam said, we'll be putting all your details on our page, which is, of course, as you all know, at SuperDads DXB. And also you can follow us on at Pearl FM UAE. But I've been Gary.
I've been Sam.
He's been NSYNC. We've had a lovely week. Bored of the muscles. But and I'm not talking about the food where you dip your bread into the garlic sauce. I'm talking about the biceps. Bored. But thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to talk to you all next week.
Stay classy, Dubai.
You're listening to
Super dads. They're so crazy.
Stay tuned to 102 Pearl FM, the #1 fun station in the UAE.